Nikki, thank you so much for joining us. My name is Reyna Harvey. I'm a broadcast journalist, and we are featuring Nikki Gupton for our spotlight interview on first generation college students who are thriving as professionals. So, the first question I'll start with, Nikki, is what has been the greatest asset that you've used within your professional journey because of your experience as a first generation student?
Well, thank you so much, Raina, and everyone for having me here. So again, my name is Nikki Gupton. I work as a specialist at John Jay College in the Center for Student Involvement and Leadership. And I am proud to be a first generation college graduate because it's really taught me a lot. So I would say that the biggest asset that's really helped me is really learning how to ask for help. I think kind of growing up in coming from a lower socioeconomic status, coming from a first generation background, there's a lot of things that you have to learn. There's a lot of pressure to learn how to navigate. I didn't know what FERPA was. I didn't know what FAFSA was. I didn't know how to enter into this world. So being able to ask for help has probably been the biggest asset because I didn't know how to do that. And, there's still that stigma of asking for help is viewed as a weakness. And I don't think that at all. I think that's actually a huge strength that people possess to say, Raina, I don't know something. I don't understand what you're asking me to do. So being able to get that clarity and then be able to use that in my professional career.
Nikki, that's great. What are the top three things that you did in college that prepared you for career success after graduation as a first generation student?
So being a first generation student actually really molded me in a multitude of ways of not just, my interests and my personalities and really kind of my identity development, but it also really launched me into my career. I work in student affairs. I work with other students. So I get the privilege of connecting with a lot of other first generation students that are coming in to say, I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to ask for help. I don't know what this means. So I get to be that guide for other students. So what really helped me was getting involved. And that could be, in student clubs and organizations, that could be involved in volunteer opportunities, really kind of anything that comes your way. So getting involved allowed me to really connect with my peers in a different way. And allowed me to get this student leader experience that, kind of catapulted me into my career. Having a mentor, probably the second biggest thing. I had a mentor even at the time. I didn't even realize, to be honest with you, that I had a mentor because it was such a natural kind of relationship that we had evolved with. He worked in one of the offices that I worked in as a student, and he really kind of took me underneath his wing to kind of help guide me through my collegiate career. And he's actually the one that helped me get into higher education and really consider it as a career. And so having someone to be able to, support me, bounce ideas off of each other, I think that was really kind of like a huge aspect. And then lastly, I would say taking opportunities that came my way, even if I didn't originally plan for them. I thought I was going to go into the medical field. I thought I was going to be a doctor. I took a biology class my first semester of my freshman year and hated it. I thought I was going to be a physical therapist. I took an anatomy class and hated it. And so I had a lot of speed bumps along the way. I changed my major, I changed my course, but I had opportunities that came my way to give me experience or to allow me to learn something from a different perspective, and I took them, even if it wasn't necessarily what I originally had planned.
I love that. Mentorship is so key.
Mm-hmm.
Nikki, what has been your greatest professional challenge as a first generation student, and how did you overcome that specific challenge in your professional journey?
I would say building my self-confidence, building my resources, and kind of letting go some of this guilt that I carried. I mean, college is expensive. I mean, you're doing something that no one else in your family has done before. So you're spending money, your time away from your family, even though you might be virtual right now at home, you're still committing yourself to an education, and that's a lot. It's kind of like this burden of guilt that you're kind of carrying in a weird way. So learning to let that go, because I was doing something for myself, but I was doing things for my family as well. But I would say like I said, building my self-confidence. I didn't know how to come into spaces and really have that presence that I wanted, because I was, this scared, naive college student when I first started, or, it was hyper confidence, overconfident, sometimes being in spaces when I didn't feel like I belonged there. And I knew that I was meant to be there. I knew that I wanted to be there. But I had to instill this confidence in myself that what I was doing was the right thing, and not taking, advantage of something, or, not being grateful for opportunities that came my way, but being like, it's okay to feel confident, and then being able to bring that professionally as well, because there's a lot of other people who are my age that have very different experiences, and that came from, privileges that they had opportunities to have, that first generation students don't always have, or don't even understand. But knowing that you're supposed to be in a space and having that confidence to say, like, I do belong here.
That's so important, to have that self-talk.
Right.
I belong here. I deserve
Right.
it. I love that. So I'll ask you to leave us with this one word of wisdom that you wish you knew when you graduated from college as a first generation student.
So I debated about this for a long time, because there was a multitude of words that came to my head. But I kind of going back to that last question, but I would say value. There's value in what you are as a person. There's value in the identity. There's value in the experiences that you bring to the rooms that you're in, to the spaces that you're in. So value your experiences, the positive and the negative, because it got you here, and it allows you an opportunity for growth. Value, again, who you are and what your identity is, and come to the table. And if that table is not meant for you, then build your own table and try it again, and be like, this table was not meant for first generation graduates. This table was not meant for my experiences. So I'm going to rebuild and reconstruct a table that works for me. And so maintaining that value of who you are and keeping that all throughout your journey is going to be, I think, the biggest asset, and something that I hope that all first generation students strive to achieve and maintain.
I think that's great. Nikki, thank you so much for joining us.
Of course.
With those powerful gems. We so appreciate you.
Of course. Thank you so much for having me.